Do you want to do an episode talking about what fucking happened at the riots or whatever?
I feel like we should. Like not that like people are expecting political takes from us. It's just a good topic.
Yeah. I see. I was thinking the same thing.
I wasn't sure where you wanted to do it.
It was Bakugan seems like the best place to discuss politics, Derek. Holy shit. Oh, welcome to Speletons. I'm Zinker, he's Derek. I mean, it's really gonna fit, too. Alright, we've lived through another historical event. Right? It's time for my best friend Amber to try a luck. Going to have to root for her in this one. Thanks. I don't mean anything to you, LaFleur. Anyhow, or whatever, however you pronounce her name. Whenever the song's not the ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, I get thrown off. Although this feels like the same thing. Anyhow, so, oh, she's fucking fast. She's fast. Anyhow, so, January 6th, day before my birthday, she's so fast! Look at her! She sprints! She zooms! What's going on? How does a person move that fast?
Zinker, you
Look
just
at her!
outed yourself. Did you already out yourself on the show? I don't remember.
What? I did, yeah. I think so.
Okay.
Did I?
You just did now, so.
I did last year, because last year I had, like, the worst birthday of all time, as I recall. Anyhow, I did now, so maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't out myself on the show. I don't really care.
Oh, you did. You've done it now.
I did now. Well, I could beep it out. I could be like, Knuckles, oh no. Anyhow, so... Oh, wait, but how would I... Anyhow, there was a riot. There's a lot of oh no's there. There's a lot to Knuckles oh no there. You're right, but I think I could do it.
We already talked about your birthday.
I'll figure it out, alright? Oh, here's Bakugan. Anyhow, there's a riot January 6th. I hope you enjoyed those bleeps. There's a riot January 6th, alright? Riot, by Trump protesters. I believe, I'm not certain on this part, but I believe encouraged by Trump beforehand to go and protest at the thing.
At a rally.
At a rally. They met up at a rally. Yeah. They met up at the Capitol thing.
Said, I don't remember the exact words. He said something more or less suggesting that they take matters into their own hands. He said basically like take back the election or something.
Right, because he's been doing that thing.
I want to say I'm not. I wouldn't quote me.
And then during he also encouraged it. That part is one of the most important. He encouraged he didn't encourage the violence specifically, but he encouraged the events happening there. He encouraged the events happening there to keep happening. And made no attempt to stop them. And then it's basically an insurrection, right? It was a decently violent protest. They stormed the Capitol with intentions.
He incited an insurrection.
He what?
He incited an insurrection.
Yeah.
That's the phrase.
Okay, whatever. Yeah. That is what happened. These battles are... Don't weaken my B power. Weaken your own B power. Your B power. Get wrecked, fucking wasp. Anyhow, so that happened. It was storming. They did it to like overthrow the election results because Trump's been fraudulently claiming.
Yes, to overturn them.
Yeah, to overturn them. He's been fraudulently claiming that they, got messed with or something. No evidence to back it up. It doesn't even really make sense. I'm sorry, I'll go over I'm not going to touch that because for some reason that's opinionated. It really isn't though. Like, straight up, except for like the Bush election of the past like 5 or 6 elections. Beyond that, it doesn't even make sense. Trump won the previous election simply because he gained the Electoral College. He lost the popular vote. The past however many, 5 elections, Republicans have lost the popular vote. except for the Bush election from the 9/11 one, if I recall correctly. And I think I do there. So it doesn't
2004,
like it's not
election.
far-fetched that it's not far-fetched at all that Trump lost the election. Okay, it isn't, and he's not. I don't think he's gained more popularity. I think he's only got. I think it's pretty fair to say no matter who you are, he's gathered more negative attention.
Yeah.
Whether you're still a fan or not.
Since the election, since the results started coming in, he's spent his presidency just trying to. He spent all of his time just trying to overturn it. That's all he's focused on.
That is really
neglecting a lot of other issues that need attention.
Yeah, like the fact that. Like the stimulus thing that he almost did good for, I think, but like I don't know what the fuck happened to that, honestly. So I won't even speak of that. Yeah. I hate politics.
We could go on for hours
opinions.
about what bad things.
I don't care about that. I want to go to objectives, like objective statements only at this point, really. All right.
Yes.
So but there isn't real. Yeah. My main point with bringing that up real quick. It just doesn't make sense that he's manipulated, like that something got manipulated, the votes got manipulated. It makes no. It's been logical that he lost.
Like it's been checked a billion times.
It's been checked so many times. It's logical he lost. There's no other way I can really put that. Like
yes.
It's not insane that he lost. There's no surprise to that. Oh, I killed myself doing that. Did it even do an attack? Does that just kill me?
It doesn't look like it did the attack.
It didn't do the attack because it sacrificed. That's kind of stupid. I'm gonna scream and keep putting up a shield. I'm also mad that the bee just screamed at me. Alright, look. Now here's the deal. That's how that works, right? But so he incited an insurrection, encouraged it during. He's basically the cause of 5 deaths, 3 medical emergencies, including 1 person that tased their nuts, I guess. 1 person that got shot trying to storm the Capitol or whatever. I don't know if the nuts.
Okay. So a friend said that. That sounds like just like a dumb Reddit story.
Someone else told me that, so I have no idea. It's hard to tell because it's something that can be easily lied about. All right, but
so
5 people died. 1 person was trying to storm like a safe zone. 1 was an officer. Decently violent. It's a riot. It was not a protest. Now. That's the set in stone. Afterwards, Trump condemned the violence. So this whole thing is wild to me. Yes, look.
He condemned it.
Yes, he condemned it. Oh, did he not condemn it? I read on Wikipedia. I didn't see his actual statement. I just read he condemned it.
He said afterwards, basically you guys are patriots, like that. Go home. You're special. He said something like, you're special. Go home. Stop. He said you're special. I know that.
He said you're special.
Like
he insults his fans before he goes. You guys weren't good enough. You're special. Oh, dude. No. I read on Wikipedia that he condemned it or something. So I don't know. I only read that part on Wikipedia. Not all of this part. I saw the video of him saying, "Hey, keep doing what you're doing," and stuff like that. He does say it. Now, so this is bad. He basically tried to do sort of a dictatorship-like move. There isn't really much argument on that.
Yes.
I've seen so many different things. He got banned off Twitter and Facebook. I think that's where I want to start. Right? A lot of people... absolutely hilarious. Well-deserved. Really glad they did that. And
if
here's
he was
why.
Any other account, he would have been banned along.
Exactly. You know what? Possibly. I'm not even so sure on that, if that's necessarily the case. But, people are worried about free speech and whatnot, right? They're worried that free speech is getting restricted by Facebook or Twitter, and you should be concerned about that.
People don't understand how the laws work.
That's not it. That's not even that, because like the thing with Facebook and Twitter is they can actually remove your opinion because they don't like it. If essentially they want it's theirs.
They're a private organization.
Exactly. There, and to be fair, there is a little reason to be concerned about that. The other problem, I'm getting really annoyed with the shield. I'm gonna scream if this motherfucker does not die. I am tired of fighting Amber for 10 minutes. Please end the battle. Oh my, thank you. Dead. Holy cow. The thing with that is, if anything, the fact that they left him up for so long, shows that they aren't removing opinions because they disagree with it. Clearly, they disagree with his opinions to some extent. And not even clearly, but even if you just assume that's the case, yeah, sure. But they left him on for so long. It wasn't until he literally incited an insurrection that he got removed from Twitter or Facebook. There isn't any worry about the free speech thing there. I skipped the part where there's a worry about the media. Like, yes, them controlling that could be a little problematic, even if it's in their complete right. But there's no reason to concern about that, because that's not what... there's nothing they're showing that they're doing with that.
Well, the other option is you have a governmentally regulated media, in which case, imagine how something like that would work with a president like Trump, who would go to the lengths to incite an insurrection like this.
Yeah.
Like, look at what Trump has said and done and allowed, and think of what would be allowed. Think of how chaotic that would be.
Yeah.
There's two ways it would go. Either it would be incredibly chaotic, or they would censor anything that disagrees with them, which is what other countries do.
Yeah.
That's like how countries with dictators maintain a dictatorship, is because they only allow communication that's in their best interest.
Yeah. So
the beauty in America is that we have private organizations run our social media and whatnot.
Yeah. Anyhow, but the point is
self-regulating.
The point is, there's no good reason to be concerned of such things. They're not. I hate these motherfuckers so much. I hate them. I hate these Ventu Bakugan. Always have. They're so fucking annoying. They're like the most annoying Bakugan ever created. Anyhow, anyone else feel that? Any hardcore Bakugan politic fans agree with that sentiment? Because Lloyd be knowing I agree with it. Anyhow, the thing is, so there's that. There's a free speech thing. He finally got banned. Good. He can't do anything. Before I go into the main topic, I want to touch on the fear of him using nuclear codes. I told you this. I don't think he's going to launch the nukes. I am pretty certain that's like a fake news thing type thing, because both sides do it.
But I'm sure it takes several keys. I'm sure there's someone there. I'm sure there are several unbiased people. No, you're not unbiased, but I'm sure there are several. I
don't think so.
Like levels of security. He doesn't have a button under his desk.
He doesn't have a button under his desk, but he can get the launch codes and launch them. I think all he has to do is get the launch codes. Although the security person said, I think it's reasonable he could launch the nukes if he really wanted to. When I reasonable, I mean like I think he can accomplish it. If he really wanted to, even at this stage. I don't know if there's protocols
I don't think he can.
I believe he can, yeah. He has that power. As far as I understand, he can. Although, like, the security person said they had a plan in place if he were to try to do that.
Where are you sending them?
Anywhere. At that point, he's sending them to, like, Russia or something, or some other location. Just
right, but they've got to have... Surely they... Like,
anyhow, I'm trying to say my point. I don't think he's going to do it, right? He has the possibility. I'm pretty certain it's just tossed in there. That being said, even though I don't think he's going to do it, I don't even want to take that chance of being wrong. It's not like I'd bet money that he wouldn't do it, but I don't want to bet lives he's going to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he would do it. I'm pretty certain he wouldn't do it.
I think
but if he did do it, I would have egg on my
anything
face.
more than his own life.
Exactly. I mean, the thing is that would cause the end of his life.
That's a spite move.
It's a spite move.
Yeah.
And he might.
That's like
some people do spite rolls.
I don't think he would do that.
I don't think he would do that either, unless he feared for his life. I don't really think he'd do it. But I don't want to. It's not in his interest.
He likes to pretend he's a businessman. He will make a decision that's not in his best interest.
But again,
at that
don't even want to take the chance. Don't even want to risk it. It's not even worth the risk. It's not even worth the .1 the dream Minecraft
took his
scandal
phone away,
chances.
Take his keys away too.
The 1 in 7.5 trillion chance it'll happen. It's not even worth that risk. All right, at least in my eyes.
Hear me?
Take his phone and keys away too, and a bunch of other stuff.
Sure, why not? Whatever.
I mean, is that not what you said?
I said we took his phone away. We should take his keys away too.
Yeah, exactly. The big thing I see. One of the other big things I saw is some people being like, "All right, those Trump supporters are bad apples." Being like, it's still okay to support Trump and whatnot, and stuff like that. Let me just tell you, that's not possible. Under most circumstances, yes. I don't want to go into it too much because I don't like getting political on this show, but the stuff I'm talking about are pretty objective.
Yes.
Like Black Lives Matter, you had a bunch of people riot at Target. That does not speak for the full Black Lives Matter movement. You can pull as many movements as you want.
Hypocrisy in this.
What?
Good, go on. You say your thing. I won't interrupt. I'll try not to interrupt.
So like it doesn't speak for like everyone's values essentially of that group. But the problem with the specifically this Trump one, which is almost kind of amazing that makes it an exception, right? Is in the case of Trump, Trump supported the rioters during, he supports those rioters. Maybe he condemned it afterwards. Maybe it's because he saw what they did and he had an actual change of heart. Maybe it's because he's trying to save himself.
It was not like it was like as
what?
It was like as weak of a condemning as possible.
Oh yeah, that too. As you said, it was as weak as condemning as possible. But say he even maximum condemned it.
He was clearly trying to save face to
let's say he did maximum
to pretend like he didn't incite it.
Because I don't want to have any argument about this. All right, it's subjective at best whether he's trying to save face or not. Okay, at the end of the day, you're not gonna come to anything objective. It's just gonna be what you think happened. Even like I don't disagree with you, Derek. Even if you do disagree, that is subjective. Here's what is subjective. He definitely packed it during. That's all you really need. He encouraged it during the riot and before, which are both really, really bad. Like really, really dictatorshiply bad and stuff. So that's all you need. What was my main point?
I also just,
and he backed. So he backed.
Also want to point out.
Yeah.
During the election, he backed the counting of the votes, and then they stopped favoring him, and then he stopped backing the favoring of the counting of the votes.
He's hypocritical. Not too surprising, but the thing is, so he backed those rioters. So even though if you support Trump, you support those rioters. You can't dodge that in any way, right? You can't separate yourself from those rioters. If you stop supporting Trump at this moment, I'm sure there's a lot of people that tell you that you were stupid before or whatever. But I'm gonna ignore that, because whatever. Some people make mistakes, or you had other reasons, or whatever. I'm not gonna go into all that. But if you still back him now, you really shouldn't. He's a bad person. He's a very bad president, and he's gonna go in the history books as bad.
Should have been if if you ignored every other red flag, that should have been the one that should have been there
There's
would
no
probably be
excuse
no
for that.
bigger red flag than that.
Yeah, there's no, you can't.
Um,
That red flag is so red, rose-colored glasses still see it
Yeah, like
as a
the
red
only one I
flag.
could see being bigger is like he blows up half the U.S. and even then, I'm sure some people would still
Yeah, he
back
starts
him.
the nuclear. I'm sure. Some people there's no hope, but like there's really
Yes.
there is just no Pyrus blessing. There's just no excuse for it.
I will
at
say
this point. Like there really is
there
none.
are in a lot of situations, in most situations really, you can support a politician without agreeing with everything they do because they are not you. You know, you're never gonna agree with every aspect of another individual.
At this point, though,
Trump is an exception to this rule because if you support him, everything he stands for is very clearly objectively bad.
it doesn't even matter just because this one thing is too bad. This one thing is too bad to let.
Yes.
It is literally trying to create a dictatorship. That is the easiest way to explain
Yes.
it.
You are supporting the use of power to secure, or power. I guess the use of violence to secure power.
That was literally as close to a civil war as we're getting. Oh, sorry, we don't know.
Hopefully.
I don't know that yet. I'm speaking a little too soon. I don't know what's in store for 2021.
Yeah, say hopefully.
I will not. I
do want to say.
I choose to believe it regardless. I choose to stand by it.
I think this event.
Reality shifts to my will. Sorry.
So I thought about this earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think this whole event might be actually a very critical point in. May have been a very critical point in honestly preventing serious unrest at the start of Biden's presidency.
Oh.
Because.
Oh. Why?
For one thing, I'd like to think some people saw this and were like, okay, like, I supported the guy before, but geez, maybe not anymore.
I think so, because even the politicians that day, sorry to interrupt, but like the Republicans, and I think this is the greatest standpoint ever. A lot of Republicans said it just dropped that they were gonna like argue with the counting of the votes and be like, oh yeah, fuck, no, we support,
yeah.
we're not objecting to this or whatever the hell happened. I don't remember quite what. That's a very big message right there.
There were people there that like traveled. There were people from all over the U.S. that traveled there for that rally, and then later went to the Capitol, and are now being arrested, and possibly and some of them are facing up to 10 years in prison due to Trump's earlier executive orders.
Yep.
What's
wild is Trump.
Which means
Trump,
a lot of people who would have gone very.
Sorry, keep going.
A lot of people who have gone very far to, or just to like fight for their what they believe in, which is clearly wrong. Are kind of fucked. They kind of fucked up and kind of are already hopefully going to be getting themselves put away for a while.
That is like a very big federal crime. It's gonna take
like a lot of.
But how many people were there? It's not gonna be that significant.
Oh, there were a ton. Not everybody's gonna get arrested. Not everybody's gonna get caught. There's a lot of footage that came out from it. Either people posting footage that were there, like idiots, or just people who were, a lot of like people who work in the building who had their phones out recording.
Right, of course.
The guy who stole the podium that you probably saw a picture of. Yeah, they got him. He lived in Tampa. From what I was told. Like a lot of people though who honestly probably would have gone clearly, I guess, I don't know if they're working or whatnot, but like they clearly had time off to be there.
Right. They're gonna lose their jobs and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, like honestly, just by got a lot of crazy, hopefully got a lot of crazy people just kind of out of the way. That honestly, like the people who are crazy enough to show up there and storm the Capitol building.
Yeah, but no, because even if they arrested
be...
everyone, how many people are at that rally? I don't think it's that significant enough.
It's not that significant, but I think Zinker, it will get rid of some of the volume of people. It's the people you're getting.
Yeah, you know, you're getting rid of some people. Yeah.
Every single person there was clear. Every person there who entered the Capitol building had the audacity to enter the Capitol building.
And yeah, they're gonna it's that's good news. I think that's really good news.
You really can't go any further in like I feel like you really couldn't be any further into that, like I can't think of a word for it, but like insurgency. I don't know.
I don't know. I barely understand the word insurrection, honestly. I mean, I get the context behind it enough, but it was a wild event. I gotta tell you, very, very changing.
Yes.
Potentially, I think, and this does concern me a little bit. I think one of the greater ramifications of it could be that the Republican Party decimated, which means we would be almost one party. I was thinking of this, you know, this election well before this happened.
I don't. That happened.
Maybe.
Personally.
Because here's the deal, right? Democrats are already leading in the popular vote. They have for the past 5 months. Or 5 months, 5 elections. Besides the one Bush one, which probably still would have been the same if Bush wasn't even president in the first place. It's hard to tell on that, but, you know, they're already leading. What happens if they just get like too much to the point where it's never any competition for Republicans? What happens?
I think that's wishful thinking, personally.
I don't think it's wishful, because here's the deal: Democrat, Republican. If you sit down long enough with any person, you can prove that they're a fucking idiot for their opinions. It becomes an echo chamber once it's a group. I identify as a centrist. Eventually, if not already, there's gonna be so many people in centrist that the same exact concept happens. It does not matter. I don't know how this happens. Like, because in small groups it's fine, but once you get like a shit ton of people, they just become stupid. I don't get it.
It's because
that's why I don't like politics.
It's because you don't get left any middle ground. It's the problem with
it's only middle ground. It's only there's like.
What's the problem?
Nothing's black and white.
Well, this is the problem with the two-party system, Zinker, is that no one ever agrees with everything in their party, but you only have the 2 options.
Yeah. I know.
So you just vote with the one that you agree with the most.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I'm saying. What happens if it becomes a one-party system? What if that's something that happens in this? It'd be wild.
It's not unheard of in America for major parties to either go through changes or even like disappear. I honestly don't know what's happened though in the past when that's been the case. Surely we've had a point where we had only one reigning party.
I'll come back to them. I have no idea. I don't know. I was just it's a thing to think about. I think it's good to end the episode here, unless you have any additional things. Anyhow, don't support Trump. Be bad. That's it. Like, it's pretty objective at this point. It's pretty like it's not much up for debate. If you back Trump,
you should never feel bad
rioters.
about talking about it, because if people are going to argue like I agree with your opinion, well, okay, I don't want to talk to you if your opinion is if you're still supporting Trump. I frankly don't care
Trump at this point.
If you follow or not. Yeah.
I'll make an exception for one person. and just one person. But it's not even that, because the thing with that really gets me is you gotta understand to some extent, because like people don't understand why people back Trump even before this, you know. You just need to understand that people are stupid. Not like all people are brain dead, dumb idiots. But everyone is stupid in some capacity, and everyone is intelligent. Well, most people are intelligent in some capacity. But everyone's also stupid in some capacity. You know? And some people, they don't get it. Like, stuff with, like,
race. For as much random trivia as I spout, I still didn't do good in college.
Yeah, and I couldn't even begin to match trivia with Derek. I don't know basic geography. I barely know history. I can quote the most basic things.
Name 3 South American countries, Zinker.
I don't even fucking know. Argentina. Australia again. It's both a South American country and a South American country. I don't know how. Anyhow, what was I saying? The people. I am an extremely logical person, but I don't know things. Everyone has intelligence in different ways. People don't understand some of the stuff they like support, like, oh, Trump's a racist or whatever. People don't get that. People hear you say it and they don't believe you because they're just stupid. It's always a problem with, for the most part, it's always a problem with stupidity.
I have family that supports Trump. I have family that I yelled with for several hours, for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the day of and a couple of days after.
It just boils down to stupidity.
About this whole thing.
It just boils down to stupidity, you know. And it is okay to be stupid to some extent, but people just need to understand, like, it's not that people are bad or anything. They just don't get it. They can't see your viewpoint. They're either incapable of it, or maybe you're not doing a good job.
I still don't believe it excuses them.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. It's not. It's because
It doesn't make them any better of a person, I don't think.
That's the problem. If you treat them like they're villains, they're never going to see your viewpoint. Ever. You'll never be able to smarten them up. I mean, people are bigots.
Regardless, though.
If people are bigots, no, some people will. You can do it. Some people are bigots. They choose to be bigots. They'll always be idiots.
People will,
they make that choice. But some people, they will. But it's just like every opposing thing just comes off like, oh, I'm not gonna talk to you anymore because you support Trump. That doesn't even begin to go over why. That just make like, all right, well, you're shit. You won't stick by me because you're a shitty person. I don't want you in my life then. And I don't think that's too unfair of a conclusion to come to. Even though, like, the reason you're doing is because they don't understand. That's the best way I can put it. People just don't.
I think it's fair to throw away shitty people or people who support shitty things, because the way I see it,
you don't have to be friends with anyone.
Shitty things.
There's no unfairness. What I'm saying is
you don't owe them anything.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. Keep going.
I don't like to just throw people away for disagreeing with me, but there's a certain point where, like, if you I don't think you have to, when things happen, I don't think it's your legal obligation to speak out against bad things. But when people support things that are ultimately bad, like if I had a friend in the KKK,
right? Yeah.
I had a friend who I found out was in the KKK. I probably would drop them as a friend real fast, because.
Yeah, that's different though. That's far different.
Well, that's not. It's not. It's really not. It's not that far off, because in this case it supports. It's similar. It's not the issue. The issues people have with the KKK are similar issues people have with Trump followers.
But the way I would have put this in what I'm trying to describe, Imagine someone that supports the KKK thinking they just like the letter of the alphabet K. You know? And somehow, I mean, there's a lot of links to go to get that stupid, I guess. But like, you
okay.
But that's the point.
Let me put it this way. Here's a I guess I can amend my statement.
Well, your statement's not wrong. If someone backs
right away, probably.
If someone backs the KKK,
I won't write someone off right away for. Okay, go ahead.
Someone backs the KKK, they're racists. That's not. It's very unlikely that they think it's a fan club for the letter K. But I'm just saying, imagine someone that backed the KKK because that's what they truly thought. Some people are like that, and that's kind of how it is with the Trump thing. They back Trump and they don't understand, or they just simply don't believe you of that is like a racist thing, or they don't get it. You got it.
Let me put it this way: in the case of that, I will. So I don't like to. If someone starts their introduction by, "Hi, I'm Jimmy and I support Trump," I'm probably gonna be like, I'm not gonna shake your hand, Jimmy. Please go away.
He probably has COVID. Wear a mask, Jimmy. Get the.
Yeah. If someone I know is like.
I can't believe we're discussing this during Bakugan.
Hey, Trump's doing like.
Should have discussed it during Crash.
If someone I know is like I support Trump, I'm gonna like do like a prehistoric sponge meme and be like, explain why. Because if you say something stupid, that doesn't at all. If you say something that's like not at all related to like Trump that you think is, but like you're just stupid, whether fine, yeah, no, you can say you support Trump, but I like it basically like if that's not if like that's not an accurate statement, that's just what you say. That's just what you're saying. If that makes sense.
Right.
Like if they're like, I support Trump because I like having guns.
At this point,
I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, that doesn't really correlate, but like that doesn't really correlate. But like I don't think you're gonna understand if I tell you why those two don't correlate exactly. Like you're not.
I hate to like.
You say you support Trump because you like guns. That's not entirely what you mean.
I hate to cut off the conversation, but I should probably move to next time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to go back to my closing thought. I didn't get to do it. All right. So like, you try to be like, oh, I'm not gonna be a friend anymore. Some sort of like, what it is emotional manipulation. Really, I mean, you don't have to be friends with someone that supports Trump. Okay, that's fine. Okay, you don't need any excuse to not support someone. But it is truthfully is emotional manipulation. Doesn't necessarily mean it's bad just because I use those words, but that is what it is. To try and get them to feel bad about supporting it, and it makes sense logically to some extent, but to people,
it's more of a.
All that does is it kind of like if they see it that way, they kind of just see you as the villain, and it doesn't ever really convince them. You know what I mean? And every person's different. Some people that will accomplish that, but other people, no, it won't do diddly squat. So it's kind of that's kind of my point. That tactic I don't think is really effective when because like I said, it's it all reflects down to intelligence to some degree of not understanding for the most part. It's not every person. Some people make that choice to be stupid or to be bigots or to just be racist. Some people just really don't get it or taught wrong. You go a whole debate on that. I just want to point that out. Anyhow, Derek, you go. Closing thoughts.
I don't think if the person I don't really. I can't think of any Trump supporters that I'm friends with. So I don't really have anyone to use as an example. I certainly listen more to their like what they say and do more than
Mm.
actually just saying I support Trump. Okay, I don't like you say I don't like really like that you're saying that, but I don't, as long as I don't see you, when I start seeing the when you're walking around and we start walking around in the Trump merch, or like the Blue Lives Matters merch, or like you know, the stuff that's like making, or like when I see it start to become like realistically problematic, that's when I'll reevaluate my friendship with them. I might try to explain. I'll certainly try to tell them why they're wrong, but as long as they're not an objectively bad person,
I can think of like one of my
I'm not
friends
gonna.
that's a Trump supporter. Um, and this is what made me realize it, because they believe the whole election manipulation thing. I'm like, I did not realize you were that dumb. You know, I know the person.
Yes.
I know the person enough to defend them that they're not a bad person.
Yeah.
But
If you ever
I
want to learn
do
how stupid
know
the person is, talk to
what's
them
up.
about politics.
Oh, I was
If you want to
unconcerned
know
with that
someone's really
person.
stupid, I guess is a
Fortunately,
better way to phrase that. Talk to them about politics.
this is the only benefit to the electoral college, to some degree. Is that I knew their vote didn't matter, so I just shrugged and was like, all right, because Connecticut's a blue state. Electoral
Yeah.
college, yeah. But that's kind of like my point, people have dumb opinions and they just don't understand. Anyhow, we're moving to the next episode. Bye.